What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Roll Tide Cafe, a part of the Bama Standard Network. I'm going to be one of your hosts today, Jonathan Lewis.
And I am Justin Riley. Normally, I'm in the host chair, but I've been demoted this week because apparently I'm the king of controversy. But hey, I don't mind letting somebody take the reins every now and then. It's always good to be sitting in the other chair.
Oh man, we got more controversy to bring up. In case you guys haven't been paying much attention to what AJ McCarron has been saying online and all over Siskey and everywhere else, we got some more Jalen Milroe talk, but also it was included with the whole Ryan Grubb. Will the offense get better under Ryan Grubb? AJ McCarron gives his take. And I guess we'll back up our takes after we watch this video as well, Justin. So let's go ahead and jump in and show everybody what we're talking about in the video of AJ McCarron being on Siskey real quick.
There's no better person to ask this question to. I'm going to defer the super chat right on over to Mobile, Alabama. And the three-time world champ, the three-time national champ, AJ McCarron. What is your opinion? Do you think Alabama's offense will be better? Because Shaker Jack is just straight teeing it up. He knows. Remind you, Shaker Jack is somebody that we probably know. He knows too much, but he says Grubb's plays are elite. Thank you, Shaker Jack, for teeing that up. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, I don't know what plays are going to be completely different from that play call sheet they had last year with Nick Sheridan. I think what's going to help is you're going to have somebody else at the helm of the offense that is going to be able to throw the ball a little bit better, possibly pre-snap read and post-snap read a little bit better, have a little more accuracy when they decide to throw it, and I think that's going to improve your offense. So, listen,
it's like players, not plays. Is that what are you breaking it down to say it's players, not plays?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Okay, real quick. Me and Justin, we've been saying this since what? Week 4 to 5, right after the Georgia game?
Yep, we've been pretty consistent.
Even prior to Georgia, we're like, well, he looks a little bit better, but there's still some question marks when we're referring to Jaylen Milroe. And now we have a 3-time, right, national championship coming on here saying, hey, it's not it's not the coaches, it's the players, right? So referring to Jaylen Milroe in specific, the guy, he openly says pre and post snap, there's people better than him. More accurate, there's people better than him. And we're talking about on the roster right now, not prior. But, and look, I've said this before. I defended my position on this prior, and I'll get it over to you, Justin, real quick. I said it before the season even started when people were screaming, Ryan Grubb left, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, Nick Sheridan ran the same offense at Indiana with Michael Penix before he went to Washington, right? With Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. There's no difference. So you're not going to see much of a play calling difference. So it kind of, I've been alluding to this without saying it and articulating it like AJ McCarron said, but my goodness, like, I don't know how many more times this needs to be said. Your take on this AJ McCarron video real quick.
First of all, shout out to AJ McCarron, friend of our
100%.
network. Shout out to Tyler Siskey and McCrady as well. Absolutely love what they do. Listen, we've all been saying it, but then you also have Bama Elite saying it. You don't get much bigger than AJ McCarron. Of course, on our network, y'all probably would argue he doesn't know what he's talking about because before Ryan Grubb was hired, AJ said that he didn't expect a hiring of a new staff member to come based on his sources. And literally hours after that video is released,
yes,
Ryan Grubb is announced as our new offensive coordinator. But he's a man who knows what he's talking about when it comes to playing the quarterback position. He's been saying that all season long. If you're new to the Siskey and McCrady podcast, then I definitely ask that you familiarize yourself with them. But AJ, week after week, has broken down what he's seen on the field from Jalen Milroe, and his assessments do not come from a place of hatred or spite or ill will towards Jalen Milroe. Loves him as a person. He's met him. He's said this on more than one occasion. But as a quarterback, he just did not have it. And it was on display for all to see week after week. Fantastic athlete. We've said that over and over again. And this doesn't come as a slight to him whatsoever, but you just can't continue to round peg square hole and hope that eventually you're gonna force something to fit, because what it'll get you is 9-4, and 2 of those losses are to absolutely horrendous teams. You talk about Nick Sheridan, and everyone was very harsh when it came to his play calling this year. I think that was a little bit unfair. And you said that Nick Sheridan's play sheet would not be any different than what Ryan Grubb's ultimately.
Not much. Not much. There will be slight, but not much.
Well, here's where the difference is. A great book, in order to tell the entire story, has many chapters before it gets to the ultimate payoff. Same with a playbook, a play sheet. With Nick Sheridan, when it came to Jaylen Milroe, the sheet didn't even get past the first chapter because it was greatly limited. Only so much you could do. With Nick Sheridan, you could have seen more success. No slight on Grubb at all. No slight on Ryan Grubb at all. I think he's a fantastic coordinator, very cerebral, a guy who is just fantastic at confusing defenses. I venture to say you could have the same, if not better, results just for the mere fact of having the right dude leading the charge on the offense. You can go from page 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however long that playbook is, because you got someone who's efficient and who can successfully run that, and who can actually add layers to that offense, who can make the changes in terms of protection when he sees something that he doesn't like and would shut down that play. He can throw to a boundary. He can hit a player on a slant in stride. He could hit somebody that's 5 feet in front of him, no problem. Again, no slight on Milroe, but personnel means everything. Great dudes can make coaches look great.
Just the caveat on top of that. Look, Jaylen Milroe, he's done great things at Bama, right? He won us an SEC championship game, all that great stuff. You know, we're not trying to take anything away from him, Jalen. This is not a slight, like you keep saying. AJ McCarron has said it multiple times. This is not a slight towards Jaylen Milroe. And look, this video is more about, honestly, Ryan Grubb than it is about Jaylen Milroe. And look, the one thing I will say, when you really want to know the differences between a Ryan Grubb offense that's coming in versus what you saw under Nick Sheridan, is if you go back and look at the trend, which we brought in a 228, 230-pound running back, right? So he tends to have a bell cow that runs on first and second down to get you into third and manageable situations, and then he throws the ball. And he tends to throw the ball more as the game progresses versus what Alabama used to do, which was using the run to set up the pass. Right. And then you would stay pretty balanced. But the facts are this: if you go back and look at the analytics, and that's one thing I love about analytics and stats, is they don't lie. The more Jaylen Milroe is required to throw in a game, the less accurate he becomes, the more mistakes are made. The less he's required to throw, right, the greater his completion percentage is, the greater his efficiency is, right? So the less interceptions he's going to throw because there's less throws, right? I mean, it doesn't take much mathing, right, to go and figure this stuff out. And I think Ryan Grubb, and look, here's the unfortunate part of this situation. If Ryan Grubb comes in, and let's say we go undefeated and win the SEC, so many people are going to say, well, if Jalen Milroe had Ryan Grubb, and then you're going to have the opposite effect of if we come in and we go 9-3 again, and then you're going to have the same people saying, see, it wasn't Jalen Milroe. Right, you're going to have this effect from the fan base, and it's going to be split no matter what with this upcoming season. Unfortunately, Ryan Grubb shows up to Tuscaloosa last year for 1 week, it feels like, and leaves, right, along with the offensive line coach, goes elsewhere to Seattle, obviously, and then comes back this year after getting fired from Seattle, which blew my mind, by the way, because he was in front of like Sean McVay with the Rams, a better play caller than him, a more efficient offense than Sean McVay. Like, it just blew my mind that he got fired. I don't know if there was more of a Ryan Grubb wanting to get out of Seattle, but he gets fired. He falls back to Kalen DeBoer. They're reunited. So I definitely expect great things from Alabama. Now, have you heard anything on where Nick Sheridan's going to fall into as far as staff position wise, or what?
Nothing definite just yet. I would assume he would go back to where he serves the best, and he's an excellent quarterbacks coach. We saw what he did with Michael Penix, and you saw the growth from Michael Penix. His evolution was absolutely amazing. You mentioned that earlier. I think he would be a great contributor there, possibly going to tight ends. But you definitely need to keep him on staff because let's be honest, if Grubb has the year we're anticipating, more than likely it's going to be one and done. The NFL will come a calling or possibly another Division I gig. And you have Nick Sheridan waiting in the wings, having another year of development to improve what he's able to do. And then he can possibly slide right in when Ryan Grubb exits, if he exits. The other aspect of this is what a lot of fans tend to gloss over. Anytime there's a staffing change, there is a ripple effect. It's not just about who's dialing up X's and O's. It's also about recruiting. A lot of guys have intense loyalty to the guy who recruited him, who brought them in. And when that guy is removed, oftentimes those guys are like, hey, my guy's not here. Why do I need to be here? This guy coming in doesn't get me. I don't feel like we could ever connect. Why am I staying? I just think that a whole new world is going to be opened regardless of whether it's Ryan Grubb or Nick Sheridan. And I think a lot of Bama fans, after the season we perceive Ryan to have, are going to say, I told you so. I told you so. He's Bama offensive coordinator, Jesus. And not to take anything away from Ryan, he's an excellent coach, like we said before. I just think that we still could have grown with or without him.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you getting on here, watching. Make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe below. Make sure to tune in to all the live streams. Seems like there's a live stream every single day. Make sure to check out some controversial videos, right? So, from some players, some upcoming recruits coming on. I know you said you got some stuff with Simmons and a couple other guys lined up. So, but either way, make sure you guys get on, check that out. All the links to all the shows will be in the description below. Other than that, everybody have a good day. And as always, roll tide.
Roll Tide.